Hello, David at Semper Fi, and this video is going to answer a question from the website which asks about the difference between powering LEDs with 12 volts AC or DC versus driving it with a remote driver and driving it with 350 milliamp, 700 milliamp, an amp, etc. Well, the difference is depending on what exactly you're powering. Now, if you're powering a board like this, which has all these different components on it, which are already regulating the current to the LED, then you're probably being asked to feed it with a DC voltage, or in some cases an AC voltage. Now, all LEDs are current-driven devices. Now, when I get involved in designing any sort of LED product, I try to utilize a driver like this driver here that is going to drive a constant current to the LED, because then I know exactly what the LED will get. So if we look at this setup here, I have a total of 12 LEDs. I have 9 here and I have 3 in this guy right here, and these LEDs are being driven by 750 milliamps or 0.75 amps. The total load is 41.4 volts DC. So those 12 LEDs, if you divide 41.4 by the 12, that's an average of approximately 3.5 volts per LED, a little bit under 3.5. So if I added another one, I'd expect it to add another 3.5. Although when I am doing an installation, I always recommend people size 4 volts per LED when driven at 350 milliamps. So I'd actually size it a little bit higher since it's at 750. Now, if I wanted to remove LEDs from this chain, okay, since it's a constant current driver, you would expect the current to stay relatively stable, but the load to change. Now, normally you do not want to do this when the power's on, but I will just demonstrate here. So if I bypass those 3 LEDs, you'll see they're out, the others are still on, and you'll see that the voltage dropped to 31.3 volts DC. So divided by 9, again, that's going to be approximately 3.5 volts per LED. Okay, you'll see that the current stayed relatively stable. Instead of 750, it's now 760 milliamp, very minor, but the load is dropped to 31.2. Okay, so that is basically the heart of a constant current driver. Is the constant stays the same, or the current stays the same, whereas the load changes depending on how many LEDs you wire in series, not in parallel. Okay? Please contact us with any additional questions.